All right, so if you do see it now, so on those six roles that we were going to be seeing, one, we would want to see if the liquidity is taken out. If the liquidity is pretty much taken out, there's three things that I'm going to be looking for. So now this liquidity has been swiped. I would want this area to be acting as a rejection. This is going to be one door up rejection. So this is going to change to rejection. So if this rejection fails and we're unable to stay below, this is an early sign that bullish trend is giving me that this rejection failed. Now this is an early sign. After that, I'm going to be looking for the second sign, that it's going to be this one. Are we able to reject this area? If so, then that's going to be a second sign that bearish trend is stronger. If this rejection fails and this bearish balance invalidates, that's an early sign. Close above here, close above this area is an early sign for me that we are gaining momentum to the upside. And that is why this is going to be a long trade with two rules, rule number one and rule number two. What is the rule number one? Liquidity sweep. Rule number two is break and hold above rejection area for long, and then for short we break and hold below bounce, which is going to be for shorts. But for long, since we're taking long, the rule, so there is rule number one and rule number two applied, and not only we invalidated this area, we invalid this rejection, we invalid this rejection, we invalidated bearish imbalance, we created bullish imbalance. So that is an A plus setup with following two rules, rule number one and rule number two, and the target is here. If we can stay above this area, the second target is here, and then obviously the rise to the upside. So now if we go to second rule, which is imbalance must form and hold. So this rule that you see, not only we broke the imbalance, create and hold it, but we did not retest it. So this is a strength. The retest is, if we do retest it, this gives a point to the bearish side that there is a possibility that bearish people are trying to bring it roll down. So in a way, you could say that this long followed three lows, rule 1, 2, 3, and then it worked against the rule 4, which is higher low, lower high. So we created low, we created lower low. Then I would expect lower high here, right? But this lower high invalid and we created high. So now this acts as a low, this is going to act as higher low basically. Do you see, Fabi, the rules, the six rules that is posted on the Discord?
Yeah, I'm looking for them as we speak.
Go to Learning Hub, MSTR Blueprint.
All right, you could.
Do you take any trades outside of the system generally?
So actually, this is a really good question, because yesterday I was breaking down the model into pieces, and I'm looking into it for the past couple weeks. Uh, I've been realizing trades that I've so far signaled are either one of them or two of those rules has applied. Certain things that I want to mention here is that, so eventually all those rules will be break down to pieces. What I mean by that, there will be some rules applied. If rule number one or two applies, what is something that I will be looking into it, and that is going to be like previous day high, previous day below. So for example, I think it was here, whenever we're below previous day high or previous day low, then I would want to wait, or my target would be previous day high or previous day low of that area. What I mean by that, let's break it down. So there will be certain things applied inside the rules, and I don't think I've taken any trades outside a model. So for example, this trade comes and this is previous day low, and for example, not only we bounce this from previous day low, so for example, this trade comes and we're unable to, let's break it down. This is just a scenario, Jordan. So we broke and we rejected this rejection and we dropped below previous day low. Now my point would be, so if we drop below previous day low, I'm not taking any trades on this area. If I do take a trade that applies one or two rules, then my target will be previous day low, because that is most important area that will bounce from here. So then it's going to come here and then bounce and then pretty much either take down or bounce from here. So this is going to be my first target, but as soon as we're above previous day low, that is where the strength comes in basically. I actually did I added this to the journaling session. I was back testing it, and I realized most of the trade, whenever we drop below previous day low or previous day high, strength loses in against in the opposite direction. it only gains it when we get above those areas. Did I answer your question, Jordan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes and no, because all of the trade, I think by now I could say that, like, if you go to any of those videos that I posted on social media, either one rule or two rule or three rule has been applied to it that we took in the rules, the decision. So basically right here, right, this is one trade that we could have gone. Let's say if you would have missed, this is one trade that we could have got. This is a second trade that we could have got. Now let's say you're saying that, okay, this is a setup for long, I want you to add this setup to rule, like which rule or is this applying to, right? So this is going to be this setup. Let's say you missed it, so now this is a next draw, that this is the area. If you would have long this one, this is the area that you would have targeted, right? So let's say you missed this target, and now you're trying to long this area, which we did it from here, if you remember, on that day. Now that's going to act as a bounce, this bounce. So if this bounce acts as a support, now I'm looking for to see what are we doing on here. Are we bouncing from this area? Are we breaking below? And that is rule number rumble 2. Rule number 2, if you look into, are we having a bounce from this area? Break and hold below bounce. If you look into the rule number 2, shorts breaking below. So if we would have broken this area and hold below this area, this would be a short setup to the downside, but we did not, so we're still in the long side favor. And when we created an imbalance right here, this adds rule number 3. So this long had 2 rules already applied to it. That's why we took advantage of it.
I also noticed that, generally a lot of people online, especially with kind of like ICT style, is more like 5 minute based. But because with this, it seems are more 1 minute based. Does it still apply equally to the five?
Yes, so those rules will be applying to all time frame. If you look into it, all time frame. And what I like about this rules is that you could literally apply to any time frame. And for example, yes, in 1 minute you'll be able to catch it more easily because it's an inside time frame. You'll be able to see within a 5 minutes, but you can find it within 5 minutes too. For example, right here, this is a low and we came and retested. Did we stay below it, or we flushed closed above it right here? Did we this area bounce? Did we come and retested this area or not? So it applies to all time frame, honestly. But
So potentially you could use this for like even like 4 hour time frame
oh yeah,
swings and stuff.
yes, pretty much. You could use it to any time frame you want to use it. Let's use it for this time frame, which is 1 hour time frame, for example. So right here, right? What do you see here? So we have a liquidity here, which is rule number 1. Up true model. This came
Value came up 50, came down and didn't break below and hold below, so we could expect a
move up, but we took in liquidity, which is the strongest. Anywhere we took liquidity
there.
becomes an A plus. So we come and retested this
And
area
it's
and
right
broke
at the
it.
50%, right?
Yes. Now right here, this is a downside play. If you look into it, this imbalance form, is it holding? And if it's holding, then it's the short one. This is a rejection. Did we hold a rejection? So there's 2 rules applied to this shorts basically. Are we holding this rejection? It's if yes, break and hold above rejection. If we're not, then this is a short setup. Same thing to the 1 minute time frame, pretty much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Of course. And then once we break this area, break this, then the draw is pretty clear to that right here. Something that I want to point out is for this move actually. This is a V shape. So downtrend, uptrend. As soon as we break this area, 50% of this fair value gap, as you mentioned, Jordan, and then we went pushed away and took this liquidity. So the next day, I actually had the video over this one too. So the next day, this move from here is a valid move just because we took liquidity. So this move is a valid to this area. And I was expecting a bounce to this area, or if not a bounce, then I was expecting to, at least if we're having a strong, then we take this liquidity from downside that day. And then we had it over the pre-market session. So now this move from here to here is a valid move That's a valid move. So the next day, obviously, everyone is going to be bullish to the upside and targeting this area. That, so from here to here is the same move that happened from here to here, basically. From here to here is the same move that happened here. So market moves in a kind of like a trend way where it does the same thing. It comes, takes liquidity, and then goes. It comes, takes liquidity, and then goes. This is going to pretty much come and takes liquidity from this area and then break above it to target this area and this area and this area. That's how it's going to be moving, and it moves in a shape where you feel like you're coming downside, but overall the market moves an uptrend. So in a long-term trend, Jordan, let's say if you're forex trader, this bounce that you see, it bounce from this area. Did we close? Are we able to stay below it? No, we've been consolidating this area, and then you could tell it bounced from this area. This is going to be, obviously this is one hour time frame. This is going to be more like a forex trader, people who are doing swings for like week or like 4 day. That's going to be the setup applying for them basically. And then this rule number 4 is basically looking for higher, which is a structure. Are we creating a higher high? Are we creating lower low? We created liquidity. This is a so on this setup, if you follow the 4, we took out the low. Yes, I understand this is going to be low. This is going to be lower low. And when I'm applying the strategy now, you're going to be looking for it is that this is going to be acting. If you look into it, this is lower high, this is going to be another lower high, this is going to be another lower high. So then when the market comes here and you're in this a long trend, you know that okay, what can go against me? Then you expected that there is a possibility of this bouncing back from right here in order to create lower highs, because it's lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. So that is something that you want to look for it. But the question is, rule number 2 applies into it. Does this breaks and holds above it? So if it does, then this is a long setup. It's a valid long setup. We broke above this lower high. Not only that, took out this lower highs and held above it. You could tell we came retested and broke above it. So that is where some traders and it's valid to bring your stop loss into profit, because it's possible that this could create easily lower high, come back and creates another lower low. That we took advantage of all of those moves to.
I have one question.
That's smart thing. Where you been, brother?
Like, for the reaction, it has to be like
Candle close above
okay.
to invalidate that level, because I mark my levels and I look for reaction. So for example, what I mean by true reaction is that this is area that I would want this candle to strongly close below it and reject this area. I want to see what's the reaction in this area, right? So if we're unable to have a reaction in this area and break it, this is where I call it that's a true reaction, because from this moment on, you're able to catch your setup. The reaction of those levels that I mark, it's going to be the setup for long or shorts, basically.
Okay.
So
yeah, I get it now. Yeah.
yes, because if you look into a lot of traders, they will come here to be like, I'm waiting for bounce to this area. That is their strategy, which is understandable. But I am not looking for that. I'm looking for, if we come here, let's say if you want to be a more riskier side, I want to see, are we able to close above this area back, which is a rejection area, right? Are we able to close above this area? If so, then that's still positive valid long. But if we're not able to close above this area, then what's the second rule that you're looking for? So this is a rejection area. Now go to rule number 2. Break and hold is required. Long, break and hold above rejection, which is this one, right? Break and hold above rejection. That's a long. Now look into the rule, same rule, look into the shorts. Break and hold below bounce area. So that's a rejection. We did not close above it, we're below it. And which rule applies here? The second, which one is the second rule? Is rule number 3, creates imbalance.
Gotcha. And that part of the rejection that you just showed me, it's another true reaction, right?
Yeah, it's another true reaction. Yes,
Okay.
we've been having a reaction here that we're not able to break in above it. we reject it here and we create imbalance. Now people will wait from here so we can come here cut short, but we're taking advantage of this short to downside, which we did. We shorted here. I actually shorted here when we break the structure. I signaled it on a Discord somewhere here, and we sold it here, and then we took advantage of this move to the upside.
All right, that makes sense. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
So basically what I mean by I am looking for each of this level and I want to see what is the reactions in those areas, and that is why I call them true reaction model.
And then you wait for the retest in the imbalance.
Exactly, yes. All of my trades gonna be a retest, a rejection, a bounce. That I all of the trades gonna come from either retest or rejection. And this is the reason that we were unable to catch this short, is because when the market opened and I said to mark 9 o'clock, this I think it was 9 something. I mentioned it. This is the move that we missed. I said 9 o'clock. It was right here. So the reason I said to mark this level, and if you go before it when the market opens, because I wanted to see if we're able to hold above this area, and if so, that's good. But if we do come back, break this area, candle close, break this area, and come back, and we're unable to hold above it, reject this area, then we're gonna short it. But we never got a rejection here. That's why we did not took the short. And if you remember, we mentioned that we missed the short not due to because of our setup, due to because we don't had any test. So if this would have came and tested this area, we were not able to hold above it, bounce back, then that would have been a short, and we would have target downside this drawing liquidity pretty much.
Okay, yeah, that makes so much sense. Thank you so much.
Of course, brother. So look at here. Now, for example, look in this area. This is a bounce, right? So now look into the model, and it tells you that hold above rejection area. This whole area is a bounce area. Are we coming here bouncing from this area? Yes, we did break below it. Or okay, so we break below. Are we able to stay below it? No. If we're not able to stay below it, then this acts as a bounce and it qualifies as a long setup. This is another long from here, first target here, and then obviously going above. Same thing here. Are we hold above this bounce area? Yes. Are we breaking below it? No. We're coming retesting it, and that's another long setup for a scalp trader, basically. So those are all the true reaction points that you were having here. But when you want to take into trade, then you want to see, you want to look for example, any of those trade, I could break it down to the true reaction model as, let's say from this one, if I want to take this long, I would want to, first of all, long-term frame that we came and bounced this area. This is an important area. Perfect. Now, if I want to take this long, this is an imbalance. This is a rejection area. Are we invalidating the rejection area? Are we invalidating the imbalance? Then I would long it from here. As soon as this candle closes, I will long it from here, target this area. Same thing here. Did we come bounce? Yes. Now for this one, where is going to be my wallet setup? My wallet setup would be right here. Is this rejection holds? Is this rejection holds? If it does holds, then we're going to come back. That's going to be a short setup. But is this holds? Are we able to close above? Do we invalidate this bearish imbalance? Do we invalidate? So not only we're considering the bearish imbalance, but we're also considering this. This is a resistance. This resistance holds or not? Are we breaking this? As soon as this resistance breaks, a candle close above, that's I'm gonna short it, and then obviously your risk reward. If you're longing it from here, your stop loss is here, then you will need to have 1 to 2 R, which is gonna be pretty much higher than this one. Most likely you're gonna take your TP right here. Now look into the short model. So those are all going up. Let's look into the short one, okay? So here's the short version. I know no one's taking trades at this time. We're breaking all this area. We broke, this is another, you could tell, we broke above it, create imbalance. This is a short version. So this is did we break below it? Yes. Now, are we able to stay above this rejection? We stayed below it, right? Rejection. So if we're unable to stay above it, what is then your next setup? Your next setup is to short it. Right here, we've been coming and testing this rejection. We closed below it. Are we able to stay below it? No, we failed it, and now we're coming to the downside. And obviously, that's the end of the day, but that's how the short setup will play out.
In that case, market gave us literally 3 options to enter.
What do you mean by
I'm
that?
not sure if one of the rules
Which one?
as a valid confirmation
Yes.
or to enter the short.
Yes, did we okay, so with this one, let's say if I want to rate this in this short entry, what would be my rating for short entry? I see that we created imbalance. I see that we came and retested it. That's an important area for me to want to see, right? But once
Right.
we rejected below, are we able, did we create some sort of imbalance here? No, this I would not consider because this is by then you already missed the move already. Did we create some sort of imbalance? This would be just in a setup that you're getting B plus setup. And anywhere A plus setup is a setup that takes liquidity, breaks below rejection or bounce area and creates bullish imbalance or bearish imbalance, that considers an A plus setup. A setup that has 3 rules applied to it. Liquidity, rule number 2, rule number 3. That's a plus setup. So this is only one plus. This is only this setup. The short that you see, this has only one rule applied. The liquidity, that the bearish imbalance that you see that created has been above the rejection area. Only rule that applies is that we're retesting it. That's it. Yeah. Let's move to the next day if we can. So that I explained. Let's see that one. Those are the setups that we could have taken. This rejection, is this rejection holding above, or are we failing below? We closed above it. Is this bearish imbalance invalidated? Yes. And actually this was the setup that I took. This is the setup I took. If you go to my video NQ, we took this setup on ES because ES had a bullish SMT. If you go to my TikTok video, I mentioned that close above this is an early sign for longing. Close above this is an early sign for longing. This shift above here is a confirmation for me that this is going to go up, and that is exactly what happened. So on here, on a setups like this that you're going against the trend, you will be looking for roll number 4. Let's see what is roll number 4 doing, because the roll number 4 is here. It's not against you, it's giving you information that we're consistently creating lower highs. Now I'm expecting a lower high to be created, and that is where your stop loss has to be break even, because if we're creating lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, then there's a possibility another lower high would have been created. But as soon as we broke through the shift and came and couldn't stay below it, then that was a confirmation that we're going above.
And for that trade, because you're doing against the trend, you would have a smaller R, right?
Correct, yes. So for that kind of trend, the reason I'm going to be having a small RR is because one, we missed the whole move. There is a pretty rare cases and the probability is low to have a retracement from here to here. So it would be, I'm risking, let's say I'm entering here, I'm risking it this much, then my R will be 1 to 2. And I think we took ES on this day. NQ was just a confirmation for us on that day. Right here. We took ES on that day. We took ES right here. When we retested that one, NQ break the structure and we sold it right before this flush. I remember, I have the recording for this video. We sold it right here and I said we're losing the volume. And so we longed it here, sold it here. And ES had a bearish SMT on that day. We went to 2R basically. So when ES break this shift, we signaled it. And before this flush to the downside, we sold on ES on here, and then NQ brought ES as well to the downside. And consolidation like this, if you apply rules, the true reaction model to this one, it will work out, but pretty much it's going to be either you moving your stop loss back to break even, or it's going to stop you out. That's going to be the consolidation phase for any strategy basically. If you look into it, you could still apply the rule to each one of those scenarios. Is that okay? Okay, this is your bounce area. Are we able to stay above bounce area? No, we've been bouncing this area for this whole time. We closed below it. That's a short setup. Yes, that's a short setup. Did we come here? And then, so if we do come here, you're testing this bullish amount and then you're getting stopped out unless you bring your stop loss to break even. Same thing again, right here. Are we staying above this rejection? If so, If we are able to stay above this rejection, you will long it. If not, then you're pretty much shorting it again. That's pretty much the same setup. So this rule literally applies to each scenario, and I'm not saying it just because it's easier to see it. Apply it to each scenario. The higher rules you have in that setup, the higher the possibility of the setup will be. The only thing that I found useful is with this kind of model, you have to, unfortunately, this kind of model, you have to have a candle close above. So those kind of models, the market tend to grab liquidity as much as you can. And if you remember, Jordan, you were the one who got stopped out with this trade because of this wick.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't wait for a candle close. I got in, or I got out early.
Yes, because your stop loss automatically set here to this imbalance.
That's what it was. Yeah, exactly.
So if you would have waited for a candle close below, this would have been this would have played out. So the only downside with this model is that I'm actually saying, and thank you for bringing it out, is that it would have to be a candle close below. I've been realizing is that with then slow by slow you end up realizing, and then you adjust your size to, because your size, you're not going to adjust it to this area, you're going to adjust it a candle close below this area. So you're going to be like, all right, maybe somewhere here, and that is where your stop loss size will be adjusted to your trade size. And that is why you won't really need to go heavier, because you will want to see a fluctuating stop loss. Every trade has to be with same size. And if you're like, for example, if you're entering here, like that's, if you're entering here, that's an early sign, one early sign. Then another rejection that you would see with the imbalance right here, that's another early sign. Close above here, that's going to be an entry setup. So you entered here with the light size. A close above shift is where you're going to be adding. That's going to be your complete size to the size where you usually take. So it will be a normal size to you, but here you will be a beginner size, because that's an early sign for longs.
That's a fact. That's
Yeah.
what I was trying to explain her last week as well. That's what I was trying to differentiate between the sniper entry and the safe entry.
Yes. And in situations like this is an A plus, because this is a liquidity sweep, but you wouldn't want to have early sniper entries right here. You would want to have wait for a shift above, because then this could easily dump. So they will be on here. This is where it's gonna be your early setup that you would want to see, and that's where your early long will be here. If you close below above this rejection area, as you can tell, we've been having heart, and that is where you're going to be like, all right, let me add here if you want to add. Other than that, if you look into my video, I added 10 contracts here. I did not add it, and I hold it just because this 10 contract adding here, my stop loss close candle below here was okay with me. I did not add it. So in situation like this, it's okay to wait for shift and have late entry than sniper entry, because if you end up having a sniper entry, you could have a lot of trades than quality trades.
This was Friday, wasn't it?
This was Friday, yeah, this was Friday. This is the, so we took 3 trades Friday. One trade we took here, second trade we took here, the dump that was here to this area, and then third we took it from here to the upside. I remember this
How
trade
do
we,
you avoid selling early? Because on this one, I remember, I know I was like stressed that day, so that's why like I sold it early. But like, how do you avoid, or like, how do you confirm the hold to allow yourself, to know like even through the pullback? I know it's like making a higher high or a higher low, but like even when you're like getting close to like the peak of that trade right there, like I would have probably sold that like twice on the way up,
yes,
and maybe once on the way back down.
yes.
So
I
just
think
curious.
that's a really good question. So let's and I'm gonna break down this really good, because Friday someone else also asked on over social media from me. So the reason I'm saying I'm holding this to is that, let's say I signaled it here, and where was my target? If you go to Discord, you build to see it. This was my target, right? This was my target. So if I'm signaling here, my target is here above this area with this bullish imbalance. I said this is the target for everyone, and if those who are holding it, we have the target to this area. So now I'm okay with making that much, calling it a day. But if I'm making that much, calling it a day, that is a good sign too. But if I wanted to target this area, which is a risk to reward, right? So now I'm looking to see how much of this area I could risk to make this much. So when we come and retest this area, this imbalance area, I want to see what is the reaction. So you only look into a couple areas to what is the reaction. So now, are we able to hold above this bounce area, this bullish imbalance? Once we broke above it, then my stop loss is below this area. Now I'm okay to make that much, and risk this much, like literally this much to make that much. Now the risk to reward makes sense. So once we close above it, now my target is already here. I could have closed it easily right here, right? So now my profit is secure. From now on onward, everything that I make, it's a easy money, it's a free money that is coming to me. Does that make sense?
All right, yeah, totally.
So you made that much already. This is the money you could have closed it. So it's either you close it or you let your trade play out and figure out how much are you going to be risking. The next higher low that has been created, your stop loss is below that one, and now you know, okay, from here to here I'm risking that much to make that much. So let me break it to
Oh, shoot. So it almost acts as a new trade.
it acts as a new trade. Yeah, all you do is to manage your trade basically. So this is one trade that you took. This other people will take it from here, that if they don't take this one they will take it from here. All you do is you just gave up that much of your profit, so you're pretty much okay. You could have sold there, you did not sell in your target. Now you're saying no,
So
I want
you treat the pullback
uh,
like, got it. Okay, so you use the profit you're already in from the initial trade
yeah,
now as like your risk aversion.
yes, that is. So the profit of this trade, this much, I'm using it on here and taking that much back. So 5 R here, 3 R here, that's 8 9 R for me from this, from this beginning trade basically. This much I'm giving it back to another trade to target the loss there. So
That makes so much sense.
so now that if you broke this area, this is high, my target comes my stop loss come break even. So not only I secured this one, not only secure this one, and there is a possibility sometime it comes stops me out, but I did not lose anything. I tried at least. In this case, it worked out.
And as you said, it's literally free money. It's just a free trade at that point.
You just let it play out. That's how I manage it, with that kind of mindset. There's no right or wrong behind it. Just I have that kind of mindset behind it.
R that I have, I'm using one of those R's now for the next leg of this trade.
Yes, pretty much.
And that one R is a potential 4 to 5 more
Yes.
R in profit.
Yes, I'm only thing that I'm doing it. Okay, if I hold it here, where will be the next pullback to here? Okay, if I'm risking this much R, where is the reward for me? The reward is making sense. I'm okay with holding it.
Totally. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that would be all.
Thank you, Shafak. And
Thank you,
yeah, I
bro.
think we covered it all.
Thank you, Shabbat.
Yeah, we've covered it pretty much. See you all Monday.